Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And here we go. Last night, the Knicks turned in a terrible performance, at least in the second half, versus the Detroit Pistons. And we're hoping they will be able to rebound versus the Dallas Mavericks. But of course, this isn't your average game versus the Dallas Mavericks. The Knicks will be facing Kristaps Porzingis for the first time since they traded him to Dallas. So, of course, this is going to be a well-publicized event. Obviously, it's not in Madison Square Garden. The game is taking place in Dallas at the American Airlines Arena. They saved the matchup at the Garden for national TV. And, of course, I hoped, and I'm sure you hoped, that the Knicks would have a much better record when they faced KP the first time and the second time. But obviously, this is not the case. The Knicks are 1-7 on the season. The Dallas Mavericks are 5-2 on the season. And there's a lot to unpack and unravel and unroll when it comes to this game. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what to expect from the Knicks. I do know what to expect. I expect some bad plays on defense, right? I expect some inconsistent offense. But every once in a while, you can have a team come together, right? And there's a lot of motivation for these guys to come together. There's motivation for Julius Randle, right? Because Julius Randle is basically the replacement for Kristaps Porzingis. So, of course, there's motivation on his part to prove that he's worthy of replacing Kristaps Porzingis. And, you know, part of his problem throughout the season so far has been that he's trying to live up to his contract, that he's trying to be the guy. Because he's been anointed the man, but we don't know if he's earned that spot yet. So he's trying to prove it. Hasn't worked out so far. And as evidenced in last night's loss, he's going to have to do it on the defensive end, not just the offensive end. He had a decent offensive game last night, talking about Julius Randle. Decent offensive game, 20 points, 8 rebounds, whatever it was. But he's going to have to do it on the defensive end as well. Because Kristaps Porzingis, while I'm not ready to say that he was the greatest one-on-one defender, he at least could block shots and protect the rim. Julius Randle does not do that. And then Julius Randle, for all intents and purposes, from what we've seen so far, is a lackluster defender. And I know, I really did try to defend him a little bit a couple streams ago, where I was talking about his, that he was thinking about the game and trying to figure out things. But there's certain areas where it doesn't take thinking. For example, if you miss a layup, it doesn't take for you to think to sprint and bust your ass to get back, to try to get a stop. Instead, he jogs back. Those are little things that, we need Coach Fizdale to point him out and make sure he's doing those things. You know what I'm saying? When you're in help side defense, you never, ever, ever turn your back to the man. And I showed you last night. You can go back and look at last night's post-game analysis where I broke down not just Julius Randle, but everybody in the Knicks defense on how we turn our back to the person we're defending when we're looking at the ball. We start ball watching. And then our guy's floating somewhere and it's an open three, open shot, open cut to the basket, whatever it is. So Julius Randle's got a lot to prove. But I don't want him to force his way to try to prove it. I want him to take his time and be smart about it, So, of course, that's one storyline that's in tonight's matchup or tomorrow night's matchup. Right? There's other storylines. You got Luka Doncic, of course, second-year player. who is killing the league, almost averaging a triple-double in his second year in the league. We got to deal with this guy. This guy puts up numbers. We got to deal with him. Right? Right now, when you look at the lineups, it looks like it could be R.J. Barrett that's going to deal with Luka Doncic. Now, of course, the Knicks play a switching style of defense, so anybody could get caught guarding Luka Doncic, or anyone could get caught guarding anyone in the way that we play basketball, in the way that we play defense. And I'll be honest with you, I don't fully agree with the way that we play defense as far as switching all the time, but that's Coach Fizdale's philosophy. I'll rock with it because I understand the philosophy behind it, but there are certain times when you got to turn away from that philosophy. You got to turn away from your philosophy and do something different. You know what I'm saying? There are times when you got to do that. You got to understand when to do it, how to do it, why to do it, all that good stuff. So while you're at work right now, you know, and you're taking some time to listen to me while you're at work, we're going to talk about the game and think about the game a little bit. I understand, you know, if you got to jump out and take care of some business, it's all good. You know, I'm going to go over it. We got some guys in the chat that we're going to talk to. Viv is in the chat. Isaiah's in the chat. Andy was in the chat, but it looks like he jumped out. All right, so hopefully you'll get a good dose of what the Mavs look like and what it's going to look like with us facing off against KP, Luka Doncic, and the rest of the Dallas Mavericks. And don't forget about Tim Hardaway. He's over there too. All right, so before I get to the video chat, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break down some of these numbers. And then we'll talk about it, right? I want to know what you guys think about it. You know, I'll give you guys a chance to call in as well, 516-405-2246. So let's take a look at the projected starters for tomorrow night's matchup. And I've yet to get any information from Twitter or anything like that as far as, you know, David Fizdale and what he said might happen or anything. So if you have information for me, feel free to spit it out. Okay, the only thing that I do know is that Mitchell Robinson has suffered a concussion, and he will continue to be evaluated, and he has been ruled out for tomorrow night's game. So we know that Mitchell Robinson is not going to play tomorrow. That's one thing we do know. And look, when you're talking about going through this concussion protocol, it could take a week, 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Before he's ready to play. You know, that's our inside defender. He's our rim protector. We're going to be missing him. I don't know who's going to step up. So far, no one's been able to step up and protect the rim when Mitchell Robinson's been out the game. That is a very sore spot for us. We need somebody that is able to step up when Mitchell Robinson is either not in the game, he's not playing, whatever it is, and help us defend the rim. So far, we haven't found anybody. So let's take a look at the projected starters. It's tomorrow night's matchup with the Dallas Mavericks. Right? For the Knicks, at point guard, Frank Ntilikina. At shooting guard, you got R.J. Barrett. At small forward, Marcus Morris. Power forward, Julius Randle. And then at center, it's either going to be Bobby Portis or Mitchell Robinson. One of those, I'm sorry, Bobby Portis or Taj Gibson. One of those two. And forgive me for a second, I'm going to go and I'm going to correct the spelling of Bobby Portis' name, so give me a second. Right? Now, if I'm David Fizdale, I'm starting Taj Gibson at the center spot against the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow night. That's me. All right? And I have some particular reasons as to why. You know, mainly most of them are due to defense, right? I believe that we have a much better chance of guarding Kristaps Porzingis or whoever is going to be guarding KP. I feel we're going to have a much better chance with Taj Gibson than with Bobby Portis. Although, looking at Bobby Portis and his style of play and what he can do defensively, Kristaps Porzingis isn't a guy that really plays down low. We know that, right? Kristaps doesn't play down low, so it could help us because Bobby Portis can play out on the perimeter, maybe defend him out on the perimeter. You still got to deal with Kristaps Porzingis likes to screen and roll, screen and pop, do those type of things. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to be able to deal with that. I'm going with Taj Gibson. That's who I would start. I don't know what David Fizdale's thinking about the starter, who's going to start in lieu of Mitchell Robinson tomorrow night. I guess we'll figure that out. We'll see. For the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic starts at point guard. Seth Curry starts at shooting guard. Your boy, I'm not going to say my boy, I'm going to say your boy, Tim Hardaway comes off the bench. As small forward, you got Dorian Finney-Smith. Power forward, of course, Kristaps Porzingis. In that center, you have Dwight Powell. The Dallas Mavericks have no injuries. No injuries. And for the Knicks, of course, Mitchell Robinson is out with a concussion. Dennis Smith Jr. had a death in the family. We're still not sure when he's going to come back. Elfrid Payton, still recovering from a sore right hamstring. We're not sure when he's going to be back. And Reggie Bullock, of course, is out with a neck injury and still also dealing with a death in the family. Right? Let's take a look at some of the numbers behind each team. All right, let's get that on over here. Look at the team comparison. The Knicks are 1-7. The Dallas Mavericks are 5-2. Right now, the Knicks are on a 4-game losing streak, while the Mavericks are on a 2-game winning streak. Okay, the Knicks average 99.9 points per game. The Mavericks average 115.3 points per game. The Knicks give up 110.4 points per game. Right, so the Knicks, like I said, they give up 110.4 points per game. Their average is losing by double digits. Whatever. The Dallas Mavericks, they give up 111.3 points per game. The Knicks are shooting 42.5% from the field. They shoot 35.2% from three. They average 44.9 rebounds per game, and that number is dipping. Just 2 games ago, they were averaging 49 rebounds a game. Now they're down to 45. They had 30 rebounds last night against the Detroit Pistons. The Knicks averaged 19.8 assists per game and 16.5 turnovers per game. Now, that turnover number is also dropping. The Dallas Mavericks, they shoot 45.3% from the field. They shoot 35.4% from three. They grab 48.3 rebounds per game. They average 24.7 assists per game and 15.1 turnovers per game. Right? The Knicks' defensive rating is 110.7. The Dallas Mavericks' defensive rating is 108.2. That's 18th in the league. The Knicks' defensive rating is 24th in the league. The Knicks' offensive rating is 100.1. Right? That's 29th in the league. And they're almost last in the league. Almost last in the league. And this isn't good. Right? Because the Dallas Mavericks' offensive rating is 112.2. Right? 112.2. And that's second in the league. All right? That could be scary if we let these guys get loose. When you look at those numbers, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at those numbers, you say, wow, this could be headed towards a very bad loss for the Knicks. And I don't want to put that out in the air. I'm just being real with you, though. I don't want to put it out there, but I'm just being real. When you look at those numbers, that's what it could be headed for. The Knicks are going to have to, they're going to have to get their stuff ready, man. They're going to have to be ready because the Mavs are going to be coming. You know what I'm saying? Listen, they're going to be motivated for KP. KP probably has more motivation against the Knicks than Julius Randle does against KP or against the Mavericks, right? The person that would have motivation is not here, Dennis Smith Jr. He'd have motivation. He's not here. KP, I'm sure, has more motivation to play the Knicks than guys like Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Marcus Morris, all these guys, than they have to play the Dallas Mavericks. Which means the Mavericks have a little bit more motivation too. Not that they need it because they're 5-2, the Knicks are 1-7. Looking at key matchups. One of the key matchups, I got two key matchups. It's Kristaps Porzingis versus Julius Randle. Now, will they guard each other? That remains to be seen. Now, they both play the power forward position. It's just that KP is 7'3". Right now, a lot of people would say maybe you don't put Julius Randle on KP, but KP also isn't a guy that goes to the basket. KP is going to be a guy that, for the most part, you know, when he does catch the ball in the post, it's a quick turnaround. He's not going to back you down, right? He's not really going off the dribble that much. That's never been what he does. Every once in a while, he'll have a strike to the basket and go off the dribble. From all of the highlights that I've seen, it's basically been, you know, him catching and shooting. Right? Not a lot of dribbling. You know, he sets a screen, comes off the screen at the top of the key, rolls off the screen, pops off the screen at the top of the key and lets it go. You know, it's almost the same game that we've seen in New York. So with Julius Randle guard Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know. But the matchup, anyway, is one that we'll be looking at because Julius Randle is supposed to be the replacement for Kristaps Porzingis on this team. So far, he has not lived up to the billing. KP, 7'3", 240 pounds. He's averaging 19 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, 2 assists, 2.3 blocks. He's shooting 41.2% from the field. And he's a little disappointed about that. He's not happy with the way he's been playing so far this season. Right? He's also shooting 36.4% from three. Julius Randle, he's 6'8", 250 pounds, also a power forward. Right, it's not really the same type of stretch power forward that Kristaps Porzingis is. Julius Randle's game is more inside, while KP's game is more outside. Julius Randle on the season is averaging 14.3 points per game, 9.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 0.2 blocks per game. All right, he's gone down so far this season from shooting 50% from the field to 43.4% from the field. He's shooting 17.4% from three. Now, last night, on the offensive side of the ball, Julius Randle had a much better game. Why? Because they found him in better rhythm. They found him moving towards the basket. Let him get the ball in transition. Found him in transition or found him trailing the play. And then instead of him thinking about what to do, he just attacked. Now, in the second half, it was a different game. Right? In the second half of the game, he went back to posting up and holding the ball for 8 seconds, 5 seconds before making a move towards the basket, trying to figure out what to do. It's not where we want him getting the ball. So this is going to be a matchup to watch. Right? This is a matchup to watch. He's the replacement for KP. The comparisons are going to be there all the time for a while. You know, while Julius Randle's on the team, the comparisons will be there. Fair or unfair, the comparisons will be there. All right, so we'll be taking a look at this matchup. I don't know if they're going to guard each other, but we'll look at the numbers afterwards. Another key matchup for tomorrow. Luka Doncic and RJ Barrett. Will they guard each other? I don't know. Listen, last night, RJ Barrett was listed as the point guard, while Frank Ntilikina was listed as the shooting guard. Okay? Either one of those players can guard Luka Doncic. So I can guarantee you that you will see RJ Barrett on Luka Doncic throughout tomorrow night's game. When you're looking at Luka Doncic, man, he's 6'7", 230 pounds. He's a guard/forward. He runs point guard for the Dallas Mavericks. one of the reasons why they were willing to and ready to trade Dennis Smith Jr. to the Knicks. He averages 26.7 points per game, 9.9 rebounds per game, 9.1 assists per game, and basically no blocks per game. He's almost averaging a triple-double in his second year of his career. That's crazy. It's crazy. He averages, he shoots the ball at 46.6% from the field. He's 32.8% from three. Now, R.J. Barrett, the prized rookie of the New York Knicks, and in the most recent rookie ratings, R.J. Barrett is second behind John Morant. But R.J. Barrett's average is 17.9 points per game. It's a little bit down from what it was a couple of games ago. You know, his shooting percentage dropped a little bit. He's averaging 6.1 rebounds per game, 3.9 assists per game, and 0.4 blocks per game. He's shooting 42.4% from the field and 36.7% from three. Right now, that field goal percentage dropped a little bit. He was up around 46%. It's dropped. And you can expect that to happen. You can expect that to happen. I plan to watch these guys go up against each other. I think they will see plenty of each other throughout the game. Obviously, the Knicks play a switching style of defense. So between Frank Ntilikina, R.J. Barrett, they'll both see time on Luka Doncic. Of course, you're going to end up seeing Julius Randle, Marcus Morris, Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis switched off on Luka Doncic, and that's a major problem. That is a major problem. It really is. And I probably should have added this to the keys to the game. I didn't, but I'm going to say it now. It is a major problem if the Knicks continue to switch tomorrow night against Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is one of the best ball handlers on the pick and roll in the league. I think he's 10th in points per game when he's handling the ball on a screen and roll. Okay, so now you're going to add to those points. If you switch, you're going to add to that. You're going to make that better for him if you switch Julius Randle off on him, right? We just talked about Julius Randle's defense. If you switch Julius Randle onto Luka Doncic on the screen and roll, he's going to get chewed up like minced meat. Excuse me while I adjust my microphone. He's going to get chewed up like minced meat. If you switch Bobby Portis onto him, he's going to get chewed up as well. That's not going to be smart. Like I said, you got to figure out when, Fizdale, you got to figure out when to abandon something. And tomorrow night is the time to abandon it. It is the time to abandon it. Because Luka Doncic is going to eat these guys up. Right? And it may be worse than any of the other guys, that you've seen. Right? He's going to eat them up. So we've got to abandon, in my opinion, we've really got to abandon at least tomorrow night. And I guess not in all situations. In a lot of situations, get rid of the switching. Right? Get rid of the switching. At least abandon it for the night. Come back to it on another night. But we don't want Luka Doncic to have a career night against the Knicks tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? So I'm adding this right now. I'm adding this to my keys to the game. No switching. You know what I'm saying? And if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear why you disagree with me. You know what I'm saying? If you think that the Knicks should be switching Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson, Julius Randle onto Luka Doncic, I would love to hear why and argue with you. All right, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my key matchups right now. Those are my key matchups. Let's get to my keys to the game. And I just added to the keys to the game, but we're going to get to the keys to the game right now. The first key to the game, we got to come out with some desperation, man. We should feel desperate. We really should. We should feel desperate that we're not winning games. And we should come out with that kind of desperation and urgency that you need to win games. If this team does not feel desperate right now to win a game, then there's a big problem. A huge problem. They don't feel desperate now, there's a problem. And we need to see it in the play. You got to see it on the floor. We've got to avoid stagnant play in the second half. That's what happened last night. I'm not saying that we were going to win the game if we continued to move the basketball and played at a faster pace. But we wouldn't have got blown out by 20. Now, we shouldn't have given up 122 points to a depleted Pistons team. That shouldn't have happened, but it did. But we got, in the first half, we played decent offensively. You seen the ball moving better? We had a couple of plays that we ran, looked good. Julius Randle taking 1-2 dribbles to the basket. You know, we pushed the ball up the floor a little bit better without having to dribble by passing it up. Got some shots off of that. We got some, went to the line off of that. Of course, we got to improve our free throw shooting. But then in the second half, we got stagnant. Got to try to avoid that tomorrow night against the Mavericks. We got to score in transition. Listen, the Dallas Mavericks, they give up 16.4 fast break points per game. I think that's like 27th in the league. All right, 27th in the league. If we get turnovers, and they'll give them to us, they average 15 turnovers a game. We've got to convert in transition. We get rebounds, which we should be a good rebounding team. We have guys that came to this team averaging 8 rebounds a game. Bobby Portis averaging 8. Taj Gibson, he hasn't played much, but he was averaging 6. Julius Randle averaging 8. These guys should be able to rebound. Can't have 30 rebounds like we did last night against the Pistons. That's unacceptable. So we got to rebound the basketball and get out and run. Like I said, they're 27th in the league in giving up fast break points. They give up 16.4 fast break points per game. We can run on these guys. Let's run on them. We got to get back to rebounding. If we're going to run, we got to get back to rebounding. We are a poor shooting team. I say this over and over and over again. So rebounding has to be a priority. It's got to be a priority that we rebound the basketball. If we're not going to rebound the basketball, you can forget it. We won't get out in transition. We'll be one shot and done. Because we will not be getting offensive rebounds. When you're a poor shooting team, you got to get offensive rebounds. So we got to get back to rebounding the basketball. All right, that rebounding number has been dropping. Got to get back to it. Defense. We gave up 122 points to a depleted Pistons squad. 122. It's not good. It's not good at all. And a lot of people are going to say Julius Randle was the culprit. He's not the only culprit. A lot of guys on this team aren't playing good defense. Frank Ntilikina played great defense last night, by the way. He had 3 blocks. He was killing last night defensively. Looked like a monster out there defensively. His confidence is picking up. You know why? Because he knows he's the only guard. He's the only point guard right now. Elfrid Payton's not here. Dennis Smith Jr. is not there, so he's not worried about being taken out the game. They need him. So he looks more comfortable. Let's just hope he continues to play this way and with the same type of comfort when these guys get back. But we've got to defend that three-point line. We don't want to let these guys get off. They shoot 35% from 3, but they got guys that can get hot. Right? KP hasn't really been hot, but he's motivated for this game. He's motivated for this game. You don't want that guy to get loose from 3. You don't want Luka to get loose from 3. You don't want Seth Curry to get loose from three. So we've got to do a good job defending this three-point line. We can't have our backs turned to three-point shooters like we saw last night. We got to defend the pick and roll. Okay? Listen, Kristaps Porzingis is 11th in the league in scoring as the roll man. Now, he's only shooting 38.1% from that position right now. All right, but as the roll man, he's 11th in the league in scoring. Luka Doncic is 10th in the league in scoring as the ball handler in the pick and roll. We've got to find a way to defend that pick and roll. Now, the one thing that I've seen, and I haven't watched a ton of games, but I have watched some highlights, and what I have seen is that those two guys aren't really running the pick and roll together as much. Right? I haven't seen them really doing it together. I haven't seen the two-man tandem, the two-man game as much now. Admittedly so, I've only seen highlights, so I haven't seen actual games. So maybe in the actual games they are. I haven't had the luxury of sitting down and watching the Dallas Mavericks game. But from what I've seen, those two guys haven't really done it together. There's been other people finding Kristaps Porzingis. There's been other guards finding Kristaps Porzingis, while Luka Doncic is scoring as the ball handler. Right? 10th in the league in scoring as the ball handler in the pick and roll. All right, Luka Doncic is also 4th in the league in scoring in isolation. Now, that's only about 4 ISOs per game, like pure straight up ISOs. These are numbers that I grabbed off of NBA.com. It could be more tomorrow night. And here's why. Because the Knicks like to switch. We just talked about it. It could be more tomorrow night because the Knicks like to switch. And if we switch Bobby Portis, Julius Randle, we switch those guys on Luka Doncic, it's going to be a problem. You can switch Marcus Morris over there. But if our bigs get switched on Luka Doncic, it's going to be a problem. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. And that's going to be one of their keys to the game. Get the Knicks to switch. Get to the Knicks to switch Portis, Randle, Taj Gibson onto Luka Doncic. And then move, clear out the way, and let Luka go. Telling you right now, if that happens, we're going to be in trouble. 4th in the league in isolation scoring is Luka. That's only about 4 points per game, though. Right? 4 ISOs per game, about 4 points per game. Of course, James Harden leads the league at like 12 points per game in isolation. All right, everybody else is somewhere around, 4 or 5 points. My last key to the game, we've got to stay focused, man. Stay focused. We're playing bad basketball, but then we're blaming the referees, right? Playing bad basketball and then blaming the refs. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. Right? We got to stay focused on the task at hand. I would venture to say that lack of focus is part of the reason why in the second half of games, we can't close or we go away from what started to work. When teams start to pick up their defense and other coaches, other teams start to make adjustments, we don't have the focus. We also don't have the strategy to deal with those adjustments. We don't know how to deal with it. And then we get upset and we lose focus. Start getting technical fouls. Stuff like that. Got to keep this up here, ladies and gentlemen. Got to keep it up here. So I want to hear from you. And I'm going to go over this briefly, before I get off, for anyone who's new. But I want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. 516-405-2246. I want to know how you think we can beat the Dallas Mavericks. So give me a call. I know you're at work. So I get it. It's not going to be easy where you can just call in and stuff like that. But I want to hear from you. I got Viv here with me in the video chat. I'm going to come to Viv and find out what Viv thinks. All right. And, let's do it. Viv, what's going on with you, man?
What's going on, Sim? I was trying to
Hold
hear
on one
most of
second. I
what
can't.
you were trying to say before, but I think your mic was cutting off, so I couldn't really hear it properly in this chat. But it's all good. Um, Look, I caught your most important points.
Mhm.
I suggested yesterday, or suggested last night. I think if you wanna if you wanna have, I guess, a little bit of fun for tomorrow, you should put one of Frank or RG on KP and see what he does with it. Because for one thing's for sure, at least in the beginning of the season, he can't handle smaller players on him, and I think both of them could actually present interesting problems for him. And then put the other on Luca, and then see what happens with the other matchups. Because I don't want to see a situation where you have like a Randall or a Portis trying to defend KP, and then you put a switch, and then they can't close out on a pick and pop, which is probably going to happen. I
Mhm.
think I think you have your best shot with either one of Frank or RJ just causing havoc for him. I mean, he's gonna go want to post up, and you saw I saw there's tape. I actually bothered Mark about it. He was getting a little fit, last night because I put up these videos of like Orlando defenders and whatever bothering KP, and then I guess Mark got real mad about it. But I mean, there's certain things that you can do to take advantage of his limitations. And these are limitations that were there before, when he was with us too. They haven't gone away. So um, I would try to do that because I think that's the best shot of at least, limiting Dallas's offense to really just a Luca and the others, right?
Right.
Uh, Now, obviously, that means the big's going to have to guard one of the other guards. So if that's a Seth Curry, then you'd want someone to make sure they can close out on, Curry or whoever it is. But I think trying to limit their duo in this sense is the most important thing. Now, will it turn to a win? I mean, I think the only way you get a win is if everything goes right, and everything goes right for 48 minutes, or at
Mhm.
least as close to 48 minutes as possible. Um, so I think if you were to extrapolate yesterday's game, I think the best parts of yesterday's game were really like a chunk of the first quarter and then maybe pieces of the second quarter. And then, if you were to somehow take the good moments of like the first quarter and that second quarter and just figure out a way to replicate it, then that's your best shot against Dallas. But they're gonna try to do pick and pop on you, and the difference is that Luca will shoot threes on you. So um, you have to be crisp, and you have to be on point with your ball movement to limit their opportunities.
Yeah. And the one thing you said about smaller guys being able to get up underneath the of KP, that's one of the reasons why I would start Taj Gibson.
Oh, I would
Because
agree with that. I agree with starting Taj Gibson anyways. I,
yeah,
I like I like that pairing actually better than the whole Portis Randall nonsense. I like Taj better. If anything, even Taj could even switch on to KP too, because the only three defenders I
right.
trust on him are even Frank, RJ, and Taj. I don't trust anybody else for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, and I agree with you about, Frank Ntilikina, RJ Barrett, those guys being able to get up underneath Kristaps Porzingis. The only problem I see there is then, of course, you still got Seth Curry on the floor. And then you're looking at if you got Marcus Morris, I'm going to say Taj Gibson and Julius Randle, then who's going to deal with Seth Curry, running off screens and those type of things. That's why I think I would go with Taj Gibson, let Taj Gibson guard Kristaps. And then,
Mhm.
Frank or RJ can go on and Seth Curry or Luka Doncic or whatever. And then Julius Randle on Powell and Marcus Morris on the other dude. That I think
Yeah.
that's what I would go with. Of course, like I just said in my little keys to the game, I would not play the switching game tomorrow night because I feel like if we play that switching game, Luka Doncic is going to have a field day with our bigs. A field day.
So I agree with it. I think switching. Unfortunately, it's become inevitable. It's that the players themselves have to be very disciplined when it comes to not switching. And I think coaches are not telling. I mean, yeah, coaches are saying, okay, switch everything, but it's also up to the players to communicate with each other, you know, and to have that discipline not to switch too.
Right.
We
Right.
saw this earlier. We saw this in the past, right? That even during the mellow years when we adopted basically the switch everything, or not switch everything, but it was pretty much close to switch everything. You know, there were times Woodson said, we're not telling you to switch everything, so you have to use like some sort of discipline. You have to be you use prudence basically. So I mean, what we've seen, at least with this lineup, I mean, there is communication on defense. I think there's we've been better with the starting lineup communicating on defense. It's just we have to be cautious not to fight over everything, because if you fight over everything, you're very likely to get into foul trouble in a sense. So you want to make sure that our players are on the floor, and if that means conceding a shot, then they should go ahead. They may have to concede it, because if you get into foul trouble, then the game's going to be early very quick, and then you're going to be playing recovery the entire game. So it has to be a balance. But I think it's again, I understand the hesitation to switch everything. I just don't know how possible it is with this lineup. I mean, I think it's just going to be natural, which I hate to see.
Yeah. Now I get that. I get that, and I do believe that Coach Fizdale encourages switching. Like you said with Mike Woodson, he was more like, look, we don't have to switch everything. He did say that. I think Fizdale wants everything switched. As easily as these guys switch, I mean, there is on screen and rolls, there is basically there's no resistance. And there's no trying to fight over it. It's just, oh, okay, switch. That quick, that easy. And a lot of times teams take advantage of it. Now, I mean, I don't even want to say a lot of times, all the time.
All the time.
They take advantage of it, and they get the matchup that they want.
The problem with switch everything is you need to, like, the only way switch everything works is if everybody's in line. And right now, we don't have defenders that are in line all the time. I mean, if the switch everything only really would work with three of our defenders, which are right now, or three of our players in starting lineup, which would be probably Marcus Morris, RJ Barrett, and Frank. And I mean, obviously Mitch is going to be out, so you can't do the switch everything in Randall. You can't do it with Portis. You might be able to get away with Taj, but even then, right, you're gonna get yourself in a problem, because a lot of these players are not as quick enough to react back. So,
Right.
Like you said, it's not. I know why they did. Like, he's thinking of the days in the Hawks where they did the switch everything with like Woodson, but that was a much different scheme where like nobody was doing it, and they had basically everybody 6'7" and taller, just like able to switch.
And you've got to have it, but it's not even just about being 6'7" or taller. You've got to have guys that can defend. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean,
they're all able to defend, and they're able to defend. They also have the length to be able to guard like bigger players too.
Right.
They are able to be quick. They have the savvy to know where to be, and they could easily defend different positions. But we don't have that. We have one or two players, and the moment you have one player that's not in line,
that's it.
It ruins everything.
Ruins everything. Let me go over to Isaiah real quick. All right. I don't know if he has anything to add, anything good to add to the discussion, but we'll find out. What's up, man? Give us something good, man. Don't give us no whole bunch of, whining and complaining about Fizz, this and that. Let's talk strategy right now. That's what we want to talk about.
Well, strategy. I do really agree with what Viv said about having Frank and smaller guards on him. I mean, we have the blueprint to Kristaps. We know what he does, and we know what he does well, and we know what he struggles against.
Well, I would disagree with you on that. I would disagree with you on that. You know why? Because Kristaps never played for Coach Fizdale. So Coach Fizdale, he never got a chance to play for Fizz. So he doesn't. Coach Fizdale doesn't
But
really know his strengths and weaknesses. He never got to play under this regime.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, when we go back to the video, I mean, we go back looking at game tape of Kristaps. I mean, let's just say for us, we know that ever since the Boston game when Marcus Smart played on him and got under him, we noticed that little guards Kristaps doesn't do well with them. So what Vic was saying is, yes, let Frank play Porzingis, let RJ get Luka Doncic. Now, I'll say this though, RJ's a good defender. So if you can slow down Luka Doncic, that means you're slowing down Seth Curry. You're slowing down all the shooters that Dallas has. So if we can, like I said, we can work on those two and just focus on those two, then you're stopping a whole lot of other things that go along. You know what I'm saying? So it's like about just getting and then also.
So how do you stop Luka Doncic? He's averaging 27 points.
You stop Luka Doncic by making him work. Listen. The thing about Luka Doncic, he's not a good defender. So what you do, RJ's a bully. RJ's probably stronger than Luka Doncic. So
no. He is not.
He's not stronger.
RJ weighs 214 pounds. Luka Doncic weighs 230 pounds. All right. Yeah. Luka Doncic is what, 2 years older than RJ? RJ is not stronger.
Oh, he's
than
like Luka Doncic. He's a year older than RJ.
Oh, it's enough. He's not stronger than Luka Doncic.
Well, what you do, you still gotta make Luka Doncic work on the defensive line because he's not a good defender. So that's how we do.
Where's your proof that he's not a good defender?
He's not a good defender.
How do you know?
Game tape. Come on, Sam. He's not a good defender. He's really
I just
not.
asked this question because every single player, it seems like every single player in the NBA is not a good defender. Every time we come across a player,
I'm not a good defender.
I'm just saying, every time we come across a player, someone says they're not a good defender.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? Every single time. And then he's got to go. So let me get to he's got to get to work. So let me get to Mark. Mark, how we stop Luka, man? How we gonna stop Luka Doncic or make it tough? We're not gonna stop Luka. How we gonna make it tough?
Be real simple and clean.
Well, first of all, hold up. First of all, you gotta speak into the mic because we can't hear you, bro. Like I was listening back to the thing last night, and you're so low. Everybody else is speaking high, and then your mic comes in super duper low. Got to get some headphones or something, man.
You hear me now?
I can hear you better, but it's still low.
Hold on, let me turn on my volume. All right, I'm good now.
But go ahead.
Listen, simple and clean. If we don't stop the pick and roll action, it's over. I'm telling you right now. That kid Doncic gets to his spots anytime, anywhere on the floor. He's just too elite. He's too advanced for this game. He scores at will. He does what he wants on the floor. He's a surreal playmaker. He just makes everybody looks better on this team. But if you look at that roster, that's not an NBA playoff starting five.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is how do we slow him down?
Oh, the only way.
How do we do it? What is the strategy to do it?
Only way to slow down is what we look like in the first quarter of the Detroit game. Simple. Everybody in rotation where they need to be. That is it. Simple. Because all they're gonna run is a lot of KP and Doncic slips, flip pick and rolls. That's their offense. And if they don't get it, Doncic go one-on-one on you, and then he either kills you or he don't. But if you don't stop Rick Carlisle's pick and pop offense, the same thing he's running with Dirk, with Jason Terry and Dirk. If you don't stop that, they're gonna beat us, and they're gonna beat us soundly and clean because that team is disciplined in what they do. So when I hear Isaiah talk about Luka don't play defense, they play a team style of defense, meaning that he knows where to be intelligently. His IQ is there enough to know where he has to be. He's not a one-on-one elite defender. No, it's not a lot of people in this league that's like that. There's only a very few. But he does great what they coach him into what he does. Okay? So he's not someone that don't care about defense. He plays it enough to make the team look better together.
Okay. Watching some of the highlights and watching, Going even, I said I really only watched the highlights, but I watched a little bit deeper than highlights. Kristaps and Luka, they're not a dynamic duo as far as working off of one another. Now, averaging points and stuff like that. But, they're not really working off of each other. It's somebody else that's finding Kristaps Porzingis in the pick and pop. Somebody else to set the screen for Luka, which can actually make it even more dangerous.
Yeah, Sim,
which makes it even more dangerous.
Sim, I was saying that because, when I was watching some of Luka, the last 2 games with Luka, he kind of went nut. Sometimes he goes in this trance where he got it and no one else does. He has a habit of doing that sometimes because he's so good at doing what he do well. So sometimes he has the habit of sometimes not passing the ball at the right time, but eventually it's like when he does a play or if he's not down the shot, you be like, oh, that's just him. But he does have the habit of never getting Porzingis, never passing the ball in the right spot for Porzingis to make moves. So when you watch him on the floor, he kind of gotta operate on a one-on-one situation instead of operating in the flow where he's supposed to get the ball when he slips correctly. Because when he slips, he runs the slip very, very well. He's either gonna pop and shoot, or if he got the lane, he's gonna take it into a dunk or stop and pop shoot. Sometimes dunkers have the habit of not getting the ball directly to him in that pick and pop action. But other than that, Rick Carlisle just coaches well. He gets everybody in the game, not just them two, but everybody's touching the ball. Everybody's making moves. Everybody's running the plays.
Yeah. Now, and look, if I am Coach Fizdale, I'm gonna try to find a way to have Luka Doncic go one-on-one, make it a one-on-one game. I'm not saying that he can't score out of the one-on-one, right? But Kristaps Porzingis is not a one-on-one guy. He relies on a pick and pop. He relies on somebody else to get him the ball in the open space, right? Nobody else really on the team goes one-on-one. Maybe Tim Hardaway off the bench a little bit, right? But you're not going to rely on Tim Hardaway. So if I can get Luka Doncic to be going one-on-one most of the game, and then everybody else not really in the flow, then maybe you can have some success. The problem is, like you said, they're a very disciplined team. That's probably not going to happen. And that's part of the reason why you probably don't see Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis doing everything together. As much as people may be afraid, as much as people may be afraid that matchup, having Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis in a pick and roll, pick and pop could be really dangerous. It's probably more dangerous with them not doing it together. Because if they're doing it together, now you have 2 people, you have 2 of your primary scorers in one play together. And if they get shut down, there's nobody else that can do anything. But if you have Luka on one side, KP on another side in another area, if it doesn't work with Luka, now you can swing it over and you got another threat on the other side of the floor. You know what I'm saying? Instead of making them just be one threat together on one side of the floor. Because KP doesn't roll to the basket as much. He pops. You know what I mean? So it's probably better that they're not always working it together, which is smart.
You know what's so crazy, Sam? Is what you ever go to a park, right? Because when I watch Luka, right? You ever go to a park and you just see that one person in the park? Like, say, I'll put it like this. Like, when you watch Carmelo go against his peers, right? You never, ever see, like, in his years of playing basketball, you never, ever seen him not step up to his competition. Like, he feels like he belongs with the LeBron James, the D-Wade. That's how Luka plays. Like, when you watch mannerisms on the court, he thinks he's the best on the floor. That is the scariest thing. His confidence is off the charts. It is off the charts. Because when he was going at Bron the other night, was going back at it, and LeBron did not play a lick of defense on him. It's so point every time they went back on defense, Dallas, LeBron went and guarded the lesser defender. But Luke kept giving it to Bron every possession because Bron was on him.
That's how LeBron does. That's what LeBron does.
But his confidence will kill us. His confidence will kill us.
Yeah.
So we got to contain that somehow. Because he's a big guy. He's damn near 250, man.
Yeah, man. He's like 230. He's 6'7", 230.
And he know how to use his body, get into his spots. Well, he does a lot, right? He gets the defender on his back. Meaning that he has the full advantage to do whatever he wants on the floor. He does that constantly. And some of these defenders don't understand what he's doing for the offensive side. He's really, really good at handling that ball, and his dribble package is just it's like Jason. It's point guardish, bro. You do whatever you want on the string, bro. Really that good, bro. Really, really that good.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm gonna come back to you guys. All right, my man Mark said his dribble package. He's calling Luka Doncic a 2K player. He said his dribble package is like that. But listen, tomorrow night, man, this is a night that if there's gonna be a night for you to step up, this got to be the night. If this is a night for the Knicks to step in and say, okay, it's time to turn this around. Let's do it now. You know what I mean? Let's do it against. Let's at least be motivated to make the organization look good. KP's gonna have some motivation. Knicks, you gotta have some motivation as well. You know what I mean? It's gonna be much easier said than done. We know this. Because you're dealing with, I'm not even as worried about KP. It's Luka Doncic. That's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, there's ways you can shut KP down. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's easy to do it. I'm just saying there are ways it can be done. We've seen it done by, like Viv said, using a smaller defender to get up under KP, using someone like a Taj Gibson that's stronger than KP. But you got Luka Doncic. Then when you got Luka Doncic, it's going to open things up for KP. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a tough game for us. Again, the Dallas Mavericks are 5-2 on the season, man. The Knicks, of course, we are 1-7 on the season. All right, let's go back. For those who are just joining me, let's look at this one more time. All right, let's take a look at the numbers behind this game. Let's break this game down just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, follow me now. The Knicks, again, are 1-7 on the season. We see us take a tough loss last night against the Detroit Pistons. A depleted Detroit Pistons. A team that was depleted of talent. Devoid of talent. I don't want to say devoid of talent, but they were depleted of some of their main players. The projected starters for tomorrow night, Frank Ntilikina at point guard. And maybe I should switch that around because last night the NBA had RJ Barrett listed as point guard. One of the two. I guess they can switch back and forth. It doesn't matter. But Frank Ntilikina at point guard, RJ Barrett at shooting guard, Marcus Morris at small forward, Julius Randle at power forward. In that center, it's either going to be Taj Gibson or Bobby Portis. If it's me, I'm going with Taj Gibson. I can't tell you what Coach Fizz is going to do, but that's what I would do. I'd go with Taj Gibson because he's a better defender. He's a smaller guy that gives KP trouble and fits, right? And you can get away with it with KP because he's not as strong yet. He's still building, still growing. So you can get away with having that smaller guy like Taj Gibson on KP. KP doesn't bully his way to the cup. KP likes to shoot outside. All right, injury report for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, he's out with a concussion. So he's ruled out of tomorrow night's game. He could be out, in my opinion, he could be out for a week or more, dealing with those concussion symptoms. Dennis Smith Jr. still dealing with a death in his family. Elfrid Payton, he's still out with a right hamstring. Reggie Bullock, he's still out with a neck and a death in his family. For the Dallas Mavericks, they're 5-2 on the season. Luka Doncic is their point guard. The reason that Dennis Smith Jr. is now a New York Knick. Seth Curry starting at shooting guard. Dorian Finney-Smith at small forward. Kristaps Porzingis at power forward. And Dwight Powell at center. No injuries for the Dallas Mavericks. And your boy, and I'm going to say your boy, not my boy, your boy, Tim Hardaway, coming off the bench. Team comparison. The Knicks are on a 4-game losing streak, ladies and gentlemen, and 2 of those games come in their so-called soft stretch of the season. Okay? Which I'm just afraid what's going to happen when we get to our tough stretch that's coming up in another week and a half. But anyway, the Knicks are on a 4-game losing streak. They average 99.9 points per game. They give up 110.4 points per game. They're shooting 42.5% from the field, 35.2% from 3, They're averaging 44.9 rebounds per game, and that's dropping. They only had 30 rebounds last night against Detroit. Right, they averaged 19.8 assists per game and 16.5 turnovers per game. That number is also dropping, which is a good thing. The Knicks' defensive rating is 110.7, and their offensive rating is 100.1. That's 29th in the league. The Dallas Mavericks, they're on a 2-game win streak. They average 115.3 points per game. They gave up 111.3 points per game. They shoot 45.3% from the field, 35.4% from three. They grab 48.3 rebounds per game. They average 24.7 assists per game. Luka Doncic is averaged 9.1 assists. They also average 15.1 turnovers per game. So, they'll give you the ball a little bit. The Knicks are going to have to take advantage of that. We'll look at that and talk about it. The Mavericks' defensive rating is 108.2. That's 18th in the league. And their offensive rating is 112.2. Ladies and gentlemen, that's second in the league. So you got one of the worst offenses in the league playing against one of the best offenses in the league. The Knicks already give up 110 points per game. Right? The Mavericks average 115. I don't even want to go into it. You already know what I'm getting at. Let's look at the key matchups. The first key matchup, Kristaps Porzingis versus Julius Randle. Will they play defense on each other? I doubt it. If Coach Fizdale has Julius Randle playing on Kristaps Porzingis, I think it'll be a mistake. I think Julius Randle should play defense on Dwight Powell. I think that'd be a better matchup for Julius Randle. Put Taj Gibson on Kristaps Porzingis. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's how I'd go about it. Then either Luka Doncic or R.J. Barrett either R.J. Barrett or Frank Ntilikina on Luka Doncic. The other guy playing Seth Curry. And then you have Marcus Morris playing Finney Smith. And of course, Marcus Morris, he could switch off. He could switch off onto almost everybody that's out there. Right? He could play Kristaps Porzingis some because he's smaller, stronger. He could also help defend Luka Doncic. I don't know if I'm going to put Marcus Morris on Luka Doncic as much. You know what I mean? But he can help defend Luka Doncic. So between R.J. Barrett, Frank Ntilikina, and Marcus Morris, those guys can switch off onto Luka Doncic anytime they want to, I think. Right? Kristaps Porzingis, he's 7'3", 240 pounds. He's averaging 19 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 2.3 blocks per game. He's shooting 41.2% from the field and 36.4% from three. Julius Randle, he was the Knicks' replacement for Kristaps Porzingis. He's the replacement. He's been struggling to live up to that billing so far. But Julius Randle, he's 6'8", 250 pounds. He's averaging 14.3 points per game, 9.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and less than a block per game. Less than a half a block per game. Defense is his Achilles heel. Last night, he found his rhythm a little bit against the Detroit Pistons. He had 20 points, 8 rebounds. He shot 53% from the field last night. So far this season, he's only shooting 43.4% from the field, which is down from last season. Right, he's shooting 17.4% from three, which is also down from last season. Julius Randle is having a hard time finding his footing in this offense now. Part of it is because David Fizdale was trying to use him as a point forward. Last night against the Pistons, Julius Randle wasn't used as much I don't know if he was used at all at point forward. There were a couple of times where he advanced the ball up the floor, but he didn't have the ball in his hands that much. So they did the right thing. They took the ball out of his hands, let R.J. Barrett, let Frank Ntilikina facilitate and run the team. And let Julius Randle do what he does. So he had a better game. They found him on the move. They got him in positions where he only had to take 1 or 2 basket dribbles to get to the basket. We'll see if he can duplicate that effort tomorrow night. But, of course, we need him to do it on the defensive end as well. All right, so that's the first key matchup. The second key matchup, Luka Doncic and R.J. Barrett. Last year's Rookie of the Year versus potentially this year's Rookie of the Year. Potentially. Right? He's at least in the running. These two guys will definitely see a lot of time on each other. That's without a doubt. You know, Luka Doncic, he's 6'7", 230 pounds, a guard forward. He averages 26.7 points per game, 9.9 rebounds per game, 9.1 assists per game, and less than, barely no blocks, 0.1 block per game. All right. He's shooting 46.6% from the field, 32.8% from three. RJ Barrett, he's 6'6", 214 pounds. That's why I'm not sure why Isaiah said that RJ Barrett is stronger than Luka Doncic. I mean, I guess you can be lighter than someone and stronger than him, but I don't think he's stronger than Luka Doncic. That's my opinion. I think Luka Doncic is stronger than RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's averaging 17.9 points per game, 6.1 rebounds per game, 3.9 assists per game, and less than a half a block per game. He's shooting 42.4% from the field, and 36.7% from three, which is surprising a lot of people. That he's shooting that well from three. It's not surprising to me. I thought he'd shoot better. I didn't know he was going to shoot almost 37% like he's doing now, but I thought he'd shoot much better from three in the NBA than in college because there's just more space. Let's check out the keys to the game. And of course, before we get to the keys to the game, Frank Ntilikina could be matched up on Luka Doncic as well. All right, but I think RJ Barrett will spend a lot of time on Luka Doncic. It's a good test for RJ Barrett, good test for him. Keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let's play desperate and urgent. We've got to play desperate. We've got to play with some urgency. We've got to do it. You know what I'm saying? We're 1-7. We could and should have at least 3 wins. And we could have more than that. So we should be playing like that. We should be playing with that urgency. We should be playing like we're mad that we have not won games. We got to put it out there on the floor, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm waiting to see. Where's that urgency? Where's that fire? We need to bring it. Tomorrow night is the night to bring it. We got to avoid stagnant play in the second half. See, last night against the Pistons, we played well in that first half offensively. Not really defensively, but offensively, we played well. And then it fell apart in the second half. We stopped moving the ball. We stopped playing with pace, any kind of velocity. We started going one-on-one. We fell into that game again. Scoring transition. This is a team where we can score in transition. They might be vulnerable. Look, they give up 16.4 points per game on the fast break. We can run against them. They also have average 15 turnovers per game. It's not like it's a crazy amount of turnovers, but it's enough where we can get the ball and run and score in transition. Right? We've got to get easy buckets. We only average barely 100 points per game, ladies and gentlemen. We average barely 100 points per game. Got to score in transition. All right, we got to get back to rebounding. If we're going to score in transition, we got to get back to rebounding. And if we're only going to shoot 42% from the field, we got to get some offensive rebounds. Got to get back to rebounding. We had 30 rebounds last night against the Pistons. We had 39 rebounds against the Sacramento Kings. That's not going to get it. We got guys that can rebound the basketball. So we got to get back to rebounding. Defense. We've got to defend the three-point line. I don't want to let these guys get loose from the three-point line, man, because they got some guys that if we let them get loose, they'll knock it down. Seth Curry, Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic. We can't let them get loose from the three-point line. All right, so we got to D these guys up. All right, we got to rotate correctly. Can't have our backs to the ball. Go back and look at last night's post-game analysis, and you know what I'm talking about when I talk about backs to the basketball or back to the defender, not the basketball. Can't have our backs to the defender. We got to keep our head on a swivel. We got to defend that pick and roll. You heard Mark talking about the pick and roll, ladies and gentlemen. We got to defend it. They run a lot of pick and roll, pick and pop, and it's not Luka and KP. It's other guys, which makes it even more of a threat. All right, Luka Doncic, he's 10th in the league in scoring as the ball handler in the pick and roll. KP is 11th in the league in scoring as the roll man, or the guy who pops, although he's only shooting 38% as the guy who pops. We don't want him to get hot, okay? And then no switching. We got to kill the switching, or only switch with some guys. Use that as the strategy. Only switch with some guys. Because if you get Luka Doncic switched onto Julius Randle, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And if they, teams already know that we switch and they strategize against it to find the weakest defender on the floor and go at them. That's the problem with switching with everybody on the floor. We got to be smarter. We got to strategize against it. Stay focused. We've got to stay focused, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to stay focused because we lose it. Technical fouls, all that garbage. Stay focused. Keep our heads in the game. Mentally, we got to be mentally tough. Those are my keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a call. I got just a few minutes left, so give me a call. 516-405-2246. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you think about. I want to hear what you think about the game and how you think we can go about the game. If you hadn't had a chance, though, I have been putting up over the last 2 games highlights of the game. So go check out the highlights, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And it's something that I'm doing after every game, and they don't come out until the next day, and that's fine. I'm really doing it sort of my channel. I have the things on the channel that I want on the channel, but make sure you go check out these, little highlights that I'm doing. They're full game highlights with recaps, and they got, the coaches, and players doing their interviews and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So if you didn't get a chance to see the game, then this is a chance where you can, at least see part of the game. All right, I'm going to put a link right here in the chat. You guys can check that out afterwards. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, man. Subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. If you're on Sportscaster, make sure you follow me on Sportscaster. And if you are on Sportscaster, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. That's where you're going to get most of the content. Most of the content is on YouTube, and it's always going to be there. So make sure you subscribe to it. All right? Listen, I got about 4 or 5 more minutes. So if you want to get a call in, ladies and gentlemen, get a call in. 516-405-2246. I want to hear your feedback. I want to get your feedback. All right? Want to know what you think about it. I'm going to come back to the guys in the video chat. If they're still here, looks like a lot of the guys had to get back to work or whatever it was. I want to find out, do we win? Andy, I'm going to come to you, man, because I see Andy. I haven't spoke to Andy in a while, so I'm glad to see Andy here in the chat. All right. Andy, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, what up, Sam? You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, cool, because I'm on my phone. I didn't know if it's okay with the volume and stuff like that. Well, Sam, if you're asking me about the result of tomorrow's game versus Dallas, I'm not any bit more optimistic with this team until they prove me wrong, man. Forget about it, man. I always go into the season optimistic. This season, I wasn't overly optimistic, and I knew this is gonna happen sooner or later. But 8 games into the season, man, it's totally even for me. So I'm gonna use a really wrong word here. I hope your channel is not gonna be blocked because of it. But I feel we are going to get raped tomorrow, man.
Oh boy.
They're gonna kill us in every aspect, man. I bet Timmy Hardaway Jr. is gonna score over 20 points on us. It's gonna kill us, man. And like Viv said, I think I heard him. I know in the background when I was doing my family chores, that he would use a smaller guy versus KP. I think the only guy we can use versus KP is Frank and RJ, and that's why only those 2 guys. Because if he scores 30 or more or whatever points, I think that's not gonna hurt us Knicks fans because we still have faith in Frank and in RJ. That's the only situation, man. I don't think I don't think we're gonna have any bit of a chance tomorrow. Even if this was be the game at the Garden, no way, man. At this point, we are dead team walking unless Fizz shakes the team up. Like I don't know if you saw it, I retweeted it on Twitter when the Atlanta coach went off on the young guys. He started throwing chairs and stuff like that. If Fizz doesn't do that in public versus guys that don't bring effort on the court, we're gonna be like this. He's gonna be talking. Okay, the players are owning it. Sim.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about, what they're owning, man, except money, cars, and huge houses, man. They're not owning these losses, this humiliation and embarrassing things that they're doing to the Knicks organization, man. And nobody's going to tell me different. So I'm really mad and pissed. If I would be on yesterday, man, I would go like Mark style on this show, man. I was so pissed at Randle, and as you said, the lack of effort when he didn't make a basket and didn't, he trotted back to defense. I saw it in the first games of the season. No, it wasn't so noticeable because we still had huge faith. Now everybody's looking at even one play that just to get ticked off by Randle. Yeah. And it's going to happen, and he's going to get booed really, really fast in the Garden.
Yep, he definitely will, man. Hey, I mean, very good assessment. I don't think we win either. I'm just hoping that we can make it a better game, a close game, or something like that. If you get a chance, check out last night's video, but make sure you look at it on your laptop, and you'll see that there's 2 screens. We were able to get the video chat so that people could. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out because I didn't have time today at work to even watch one show. I'm happy we got 2 shows. The weekend's gonna be fun, and even it's gonna add this show and post game show from the Dallas game. So it's going to be a perfect weekend for me.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm going to get to these guys and find out who they think is going to win, and then I'm going to get up out of here so I can get
Sim, just to add, I don't know if Mark or Viv want to stay, but I'm going to be available in the chat now because I just got off my family duty stuff, and I can stay in the chat. So if someone wants to join in to chop it up after the show, so I'm going to be happy to.
Okay, cool. Yep, I'll make sure it stays up. You guys hear that? Whereby.com/NBK if you want to stay in and talk with Mark and Andy and maybe Viv. You're welcome to join in. All right. Mark?
Yo.
What's your prediction, man?
So check this. I'm torn because I do want us to improve as a team for future references. But the way things has been going, I just don't feel that way. Okay? It's not. Well, after last night's loss and what I've been seeing from Pacific players that will hurt us in future time, in future references, I don't feel as confident when I'm coming to these games and I want to win. People got it all miscrewed. I want us to win no matter what. But when things are looking like this, it is hard to watch them from time to time, bro.
Yeah, true story.
It's not
true story.
Like people think I'm excited for Porzingis to show us a lesson, yeah. But I still would rather that win. I still would rather that win.
Yeah.
So
what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? You're going neutral. He's going neutral on us. You can't. He's going neutral on us.
Because I want to win. I don't want to be 1-9.
I don't. Me either. Trust me. I don't want to be 1-9 either. I don't want to be 1-9 either.
So it's like whatever happens, it happens.
But I don't think we're gonna win. But I'm hoping. I really hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, let me get the Viv. Viv, what do you think, man?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, Sim. It's gonna be tough. I don't expect a W. I don't think the Knicks have an answer right now.
True. I don't think we have an answer to much of anything right now. I feel like Fizz is in over his head. I don't feel like Fizz knows what he wants to do. I feel like, the front office, they equipped Fizdale with some talent, but maybe too much talent. And when I say too much talent, I don't mean too much talent to the point where, we have this overabundance of guys that should be really, really good. But you guys know what I'm saying. Too much talent, saying that too many guys that need to play, that deserve to play. So he doesn't know where to fit them. You got to have some guys that just aren't going to play on the team, right? And so you don't have to worry about those guys. And there's too many of those guys, and he doesn't know what to do, who to put.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
What to do with it, and the crazy thing is this: you should know what to do, because you should just have the heart to be like, this guy's just gonna be a bench warmer. That's it. And I guess maybe that's what he's doing with Trier. But I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
know. I feel like Fizdale is also confused, and that's part of the reason why the team is confused.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So it's tough, man. But hey, Viv, I'm getting off here, man. All right.
All right, cool.
If you get a chance to, hey, did you get a chance to see the dual screen last night?
Yeah, I did. I actually liked it. I was a fan of it.
Yeah, so I plan on doing it more often. I won't be able to do it this weekend when I stream.
I thought it looked cool, in my opinion. I thought it was pretty cool.
But next week when I'm back in the studio and stuff, I'm gonna, I'm going to continue to do it. Should be fun.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool. I liked it.
Yeah, and then now I'm putting out the little, the little game full game highlights with the coaches interviews and stuff like that up in the corner. Right. For people who missed the games and stuff like that, right? So I'm actually right now in the YouTube chat, I'm putting a link to the full game highlights where you can check that out. So, check that out, guys, and support it. Yeah. All right, but I'm gonna get up out of here. All right. And enjoy the rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm heading out. I just put a link in the chat where you can check out the full game highlights and recap. And basically it's just seeing highlights of the game and hearing Coach Fizz, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, hearing them guys talking about the game and, that kind of stuff. All right, but I'm out of here. I got to head to basketball practice. And then I'm back on the road. I'm thinking about the possibility of streaming a little bit tonight. I do want to talk a little bit about RJ Barrett and Frank Ntilikina, if that's the future backcourt for us. I want to talk about that. So I may jump on tonight if time permits. Talk about RJ Barrett and Frank Ntilikina. Okay? But I'm heading out. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. All right? Work, work smart, not hard. You know how the saying goes. But I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.